Welcome, welcome. So, my name is Mai Yuno. I'm an artist and educator at Playful Ground, which is my social practice art studio in Monterey, California. And today I'm going to talk about memory and observation drawing, and also have you work on a couple of drawing exercises if you would like to. And if you have any questions at the end, I am happy to answer them as well. So let's get started. So I am trying to change to presentation, but looks like there's a little time lag. Let's see, I'm gonna wait a little bit. So it looks like it's there. Hi. So tonight this is my first time streaming live on YouTube to teach you how to draw. So I am planning to make it more weekly or bi-weekly thing. And today I am going to talk about drawing that's out of your memory and also out of your observation, which is with your eyes. Something that I've been teaching in my classes at community college here in Monterey, but I wanted to also share that with you. Sunday drawing. Oh, what's wrong? I am not sure how to change pages. Was going back and forth between different slides and program. But anyway, so things you need, I want you to have a couple pieces of paper. Will be great if you have just white blank paper with no lines, but if you have no access to that, it's okay if you have a notepad with lines. Any kind is fine. Of course, sketch pad, drawing pad, those are made specifically for this type of work. But even copy paper, whatever the paper you can grab, is fine. And have a couple of pencils. Ideally, if you have two colors, will be good, because later you're gonna be comparing your memory drawing with observational drawing, so you can see in different colors. It's great, but if you don't have that, just one pencil is okay too, and an eraser for you to have a little comfort of being able to maybe fix mistakes, or not mistakes, it's the process. So if you can grab those things and be ready. I need to edit this. So first we're gonna start with drawing from memory, and I wanted to introduce this quote from a book I've been reading on and off. Is drawing from memory helps the process of distillation because we do not retain everything. Forgetting plays an important role in extracting the marrow of a situation. That's by Sean McNiff, and the book is called Trust the Process, and the Artist's Guide to Letting Go. So this exercise is perfect for you to let go of some control, because it's gonna be short and it's gonna be out of memory. So no matter how well our memory is, or how poor like mine is very short, it really, the purpose is not to make perfect drawing, but trying to capture the essence of what you see in a reference and quickly draw from your memory. Also, the longer you wait, the more memories you lose probably. So that's that. And did I change? Okay, so memory drawing to start with, and start from easiest one. We're gonna start with one object, single object. I have a reference for you to look at the screen and just follow the steps. If you would like to choose your own image, you're welcome to do it. But for this, pick something that's easy for you, but not so familiar. Maybe if you choose something that's very familiar to you already, you probably remembered a lot of this part of the reference, but the point is, part of this is to let it go. So grab an image out of maybe phone, or even just look around and pick one thing in front of you, and you can draw from the actual object or scene that's in front of you as well. So what we're gonna do here with that reference is, I'm gonna ask you to look at an image for 1 minute to memorize as well as possible. But think that the point is not to remember everything in 1 minute. So, no, big shape first, and forget about details probably. Then I'm gonna give you 2 minutes to draw, but when you draw, do not look at the picture. Just remember what you just saw and try to draw within 2 minutes. So that 2 minutes time frame is also not such a long time. Although I did not pick such a difficult image, still within 2 minutes, also good to learn how much you can draw in 2 minutes. It sounds short or it sounds long. It depending on how you work in this type of work as well. So that being said, again, in 1 minute, really you need to focus on what you are seeing and what you're gonna eventually put in a drawing in 2 minutes. So a little bit of planning in your head might be helpful. So for me, 2 things I want you to look at when you're looking at the first image. It's the essential shape, big pictures, not the tiny, tiny details, and the outlines of those shapes. No matter how much you add details, if that essential shape, the first shape is not right, the end result, it's gonna be different from what you see in the reference. So let's start with big picture, just simple outlines, so that it's easier for you to memorize as well as start drawing. So are you ready? Oops. Are you ready? I assume you are. And so let's start the first image, which is one object. And the time is 1 minute, so let me time that for you. 1 minute. And if you are watching and you're in my drawing class and trying to finish your homework, then grab your image, or you can use this image as the second exercise of this type of drawing. Either way, it's fine for you, so it's up to you if you wanted to use this image for your work or you pick your image again. So 1 minute, let's see, timer, and 1 minute. That's gonna be pretty short, I think. And because I'm not sure, there might be some time difference between what I'm talking here and how you're watching live stream. I feel like that might be the case. So I'm gonna actually time 2 minutes here. So, or you can time yourself if you just set yourself and do it on your clock. Okay, so oops. So this is the image, and please look at it. And try to capture the big forms, essential forms. Try to remember how it carves. Maybe dissects few different areas. Memorize as much as you can in 1 minute, which is coming up, but I'm going to add 1 more minute just in case. Of the time, right? Or if you are timing, it's fine. You can just use your timer too. It's a calla lily, obviously. But do you see anything else within that, just as a shape? 5 seconds left. Okay, so should be enough. Then I am going to turn that picture away from you, and now it's time for you to draw in 2 minutes. Again, I'm gonna add 1 more minute just in case I am talking faster than it's streaming, so it's 3 minutes here, but the exercises I said 2 minutes. It's somewhat short, a little bit shorter than you feel comfortable is probably good when you do this on your own. So just kind of put 2, but it can be 3. Just don't give yourself too much time. Then you start controlling, using more like thinking and things. So just quickly, whatever you saw, maybe close your eyes and remember again. Then just draw it. Oh, what happened? Yes, that's let me check the time. It's about halfway out of 3 minutes, so it's been a minute and a half. how much do you remember what you just saw? Probably not super hard to capture, kind of like that shape. Quick, quick, quick. So 2 minutes are up here, but I am timing 3 minutes just in case. So if you can finish your drawing up in about 30 seconds here, but at your time. So when you do this again, like 2-3 minutes, also depending on the complexity of the image. So it's hard to tell exactly which minutes are the best, but try to do it with a little less time than you feel comfortable, just to challenge it. And it's not that we're trying to make final masterpiece, so it's okay. Are you able to draw? Then I am going to put the reference, but let me see. But before I do so, now we are shifting we're transitioning our drawing from memory drawing you just did to the observational drawing. So let me show. So drawing from observation is different from drawing from memory, as you can probably see. You will be able to see everything in that reference. And basically, what you have to do in this drawing is draw what you see in the photo. Again, it's the same image I'm going to show you. And what I want you to really experience is see the difference between what you drew out of memory and what is actually happening in the reference. Although it's easy to say draw what you see, it's actually really hard and multiple reasons. So let's get to next. So a couple key points and things that for this type of drawing is it's the most important thing. It's really look at the reference closely. How you see things is like constantly looking at the reference and your drawing and checking if anything that's different between those two you can find. And if you see something, grab a second pencil if you have a color pencil with different colors, different from the first color. Or if you don't have that, it's okay, just draw over it with the same pencil. You should be able to see and make some adjustment to what you see in your reference from the drawing you just did out of the memory. So look at reference. Don't take your eyes away from it too long. And again, draw what you see in there. So it's easy to say, but it's actually really hard. And things to look at, it's the same thing, but you have ability to actually have it in front of you. So it should be easier to identify what's happening in your drawing and what's happening in the reference photo. Or if you're looking at something, same thing. Outlines, again, it's just simple shapes and outlines to start. And if you have time, or if after you finish, you start adding. After you make sure the shapes are right, then you start adding details to finish the drawing. But we're not going to do that today, really, to that point. But eventually, that's what you probably want to do and finish it. So those are a few things to look at when you are doing next step of the observational drawing. So let me put the picture again, and this time again I'm gonna give you 2 minutes, but I'll do 3 minutes just in case. So 2-3 minutes. When you do it again on your own, just put 2-3 minutes. Okay, so this was the picture, and look at your drawing and compare between your drawing and photo. And couple minutes, try to make adjustment. The whole width is yours not too long, too wide, or not too short. The other way too, it's not too tall, it's not too squished. That's maybe first thing to measure, kind of roughly, how the curves move between your drawing, original memory drawing, to the actual photo, and what's happening inside the little subtle lines that divide parts of this lily, how the lines are moving throughout the picture, and just follow it and put it in your drawing. About 1 minute pass here, couple minutes left. You might have noticed that I took the background out and put just the black so that you can focus on this thing. So when you're going to try to do it yourself, maybe you can take the background off whatever the app you might have had and try to focus on the thing you wanted to draw. To start with, eventually you probably want to have maybe some background and create a scene, design, composition, and layout. But for the beginning, it's good to focus on one thing and really nail it to move on to the next step. So about 40 seconds left here. Again, I'm not really sure how the timing is working for streaming, so hopefully it's not that too much of time lag, but 20 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Hello again. So I am not sure, really, this is funny to me, but how did you do this couple of drawings you did, one from memory and one from observation? Did you find a lot of differences? If so, that's successful, maybe. And the book I introduced earlier was about letting it go. So really try not to control too much, yet purely look at what's in front of you and try to capture the shapes as outline, it's harder than it sounds. It just feels funny sometimes and looks funny sometimes. Maybe the real, so now we're kind of getting into realistic drawing maybe, but when you see something so closely, you start finding something that looks kind of funny, but that's what it looks in the photograph. So if you find anything like that, would be great. And also, if you are watching and doing this, it will be great if you maybe leave a comment how you did and what you discovered between two of your drawings. So, I guess, oh, that's right. So that being said, I wanted to show you the same image in a couple of different ways. See if they make your work a little bit easier or not. I'm not sure, but I wanted to kind of you to see different ways of looking at the same image. Also gives you different maybe visual information that you notice or not notice before when you look at color photo, which can be a little bit destructive when you're just doing simple black and white graphite drawing. So let me show you, and maybe let's do this. I'll give you 2 minutes, not over the original drawing. It doesn't have to be, maybe on the new sheet or the other side, somewhere in that blank area. Let's try to draw this one. See if your experience changes. 2 minutes means 3 here. Same image, just no color. Try to draw this exact same image. How would you start? Start with, again, bigger line, bigger shapes, essential shapes as outlines. Then adding something more to it. I usually even don't look at parts when I start. I start with really big, the entire outline to start, which I'm going to talk in the next session next week, or we'll see. Then I will section it after the big shape. But how about you? How are you working with this? If you're in my class, happen to be, you can probably, use the newer learning in the class to also capture this shape better. Which I'm not going to reveal today, it's too much, but just really focus on what you see in the photo. That's the main thing. And find whatever it's not right in your drawing. Fix, fix, fix. about 30 seconds left. This is 3 minutes here. This is time's up. How does that black and white image work? Does it helpful, or is it same as the color photo? I don't know. In this case, it's pretty simple and a lot of white in the original photographs too. So then I'm gonna show you another image out of the same photograph. I have a feeling this might be helpful, but we'll see. This one. So the technique I used here is on Photoshop, find edges. And this is kind of what I've been talking about throughout this session now, that looking at outlines, looking at bigger shapes, and adding a little more details as you go, but really important to capture the simple essence of what the object looks like. So with this one, let's try to draw in 1 minute. It's almost, copying it. See if that is easier. So let me put 2 minutes here, just in case. So here you go. For the practice, definitely I will recommend you to first look at real photograph and try to, in your head, process that from the real image with a lot more going on, seemingly, to make it something like this, simple. It's the part of practice that you can do to learn how to draw at the beginning, before you start even learning any shading or more detailed stuff that you can do later. Again, the first shape is off. No matter how much you add more details to it, end result, it's gonna be off. So this is simple as it looks, but it's a very important stage of development of your drawing. So out of 2 minutes, there are about 30 seconds left. If you can see this way when you saw the picture, no, you're halfway there. Also, let me finish. It's 3 seconds left. Ding. It's always hard to teach when I don't get a lot of responses, so I'm not sure how you're doing, but hopefully you have different experiences between different images and different ways of drawing, that you start learning how to see, which is half of the work of drawing, is how to see. Then once you kind of get how you can see things for drawing, the work becomes much easier, no matter how many objects are there. no matter what kind of reference you're using or images that you're trying to draw. So of course, the more you do, things get better. Let me see, where am I? I feel like I have a better way to do this. Okay, so how you doing so far? If you can leave a message in the chat, it will be great. I don't know how to respond. And again, if you have any questions, you can leave them, I think, here now. I can see them. Or if you have if you decide to do this again and still kind of memory lasts only for a certain time, you need to come back and watch it again and do it again. And then if you have questions or anything, please feel free to leave them in the comments. So I am going to try to answer to all the questions you might have now, here during the live, and also into the future. So let's go to, I guess, next. So taking that practice of single object, what I wanted to do for the rest of this time is to do the multiple object, and that will lead to our next section. That's about positive negative. If you're in the class, you know that. But if you're here, new and watching, that's what I'm going to talk about, positive negative, and the next one. But today's outline and memory and observation. So let's try to draw. This was one thing of Lily 2. The next is this one. The tomatoes. They're in season here now. I just saw tomato picking. You pick is happening around here, and some of you may not like tomatoes, but I love tomatoes. And heirloom tomatoes are wonderful in terms of different shapes. So that's something that you wanted to think about when you pick your reference for maybe drawing exercises. What kind of image you pick. Think about, things that give you nice variation of curves, straight lines, angles, bumps, dents, things like that. Rather than, you might like certain things, but it might be too challenging or a little different from what you are trying to do to learn something. It might be really, really hard for you to have a good result. So it's good to start with something simple, yet giving you good exercise of different shapes for this part. And tomatoes are, I think, right? Heirloom tomatoes. And lily I picked because of all the nice curves that lilies give. Also thought about horizontal. So same process here, but 3 things. I'm going to time same way as the first time. So 2 minutes. Remember this time. 2 minutes, 3 minutes. 2. Don't touch pencil. Don't look at paper. Just focus on these tomatoes and try to memorize how what they look like. But this time there is some overlapping happening between a couple of tomatoes, and there is one single tomato, so distance between those groups, it might be something you need to think now that you didn't have to think or look at. So but the first the principles are the same. Look at the reference very closely. Try to memorize as much as possible, although the goal is not to make perfect drawing. Just capture the essence of what they look like in the reference, but in your drawing it should be pretty different, but as long as you can see that foundation, it's good. So let's start the 3 minutes. Just look at it and memorize. Start now. Oops. Oh, I don't know. Am I doing okay? I want someone to tell me. This is funny. If you didn't see a lot of differences between your drawing and the reference from the first part of the exercise, either you have really good memory and handle of pencil and lines and things, or you haven't developed the way of seeing elements in drawing compared to reference yet. So if you're in my class, please post your drawings in one of the documents. Please share under reference and non-reference slides. I can take a look. If you're not in the class, you can email me. I can take a look. My email will be in the description, but it's hello@playfulground.com. And I'm happy to give you quick feedback. Or you can send me a link to wherever you post things and tell me you want to hear what I see. We see different things depending on, you and me are probably seeing different things, and that's the hard thing as a visual art instructor, to explain or just translate how I see, because we see things differently no matter what. So about 10 seconds left. So that's the time, and now I am going to shift the screen to me. Hi, how you doing? I hope you're doing well and enjoying making some drawings. And the next step is, you might be already starting. That's good. Draw what you saw in 2 minutes, and I keep just putting 3 minutes for 2, adding 1 minute, but 2-3 minutes. So go ahead, draw 3 tomatoes. How did you see them? Also, do you remember where those green tops are? Each one of them have different placement of those. How they call them? Thing. That's the 2-3 minutes again. This is already a little bit more challenging than the last one because of the number of the object became 3 instead of one, so your focus needed to be, in all those places. But I'm only giving you the same amount of time. So maybe feel that if you start, drawing a little bit faster, capturing the essence of the object a little more quicker than the first time just doing it, looking at it and drawing it, then you're already, getting better. Oh, halfway, minute and a half left. Drawing 3 tomatoes. Or some kind of 3 bumpy things. About 30 seconds left. This part of the drawing probably time is, you don't need a whole lot of time. I think quicker is better. So see if you had 10 minutes, what you can do. Do you remember that much detail? Okay, so that was 3 minutes here. And the next step is, of course, I want you to draw. The tomatoes by looking at it. But this time I'm gonna put maybe this one. The one has only lines to give you a little easier task. See, again, grab a different color pencil, or if you don't have it, it's okay, but draw over to see the difference between your memory drawing and observation drawing. This one with line, again, it came from exactly the same picture. I just photoshopped and found edges, and so it became like almost illustration. Not almost, it looks like illustration, drawing of the same tomatoes. So there's some work already there. So let's see. I'll give you again 2 minutes and see what happens. Ba-bum. So find as many places as you can find that are different from what you drew from your memory. Not saying that one is better than the other. There were completely 2 different types of drawings. So the first one from memory is to, let your control go and focus on the reference and try to capture the basics of any shape, any image, shapes of any images that you might be drawing in the future. And then often, or almost all the time, when I hear students saying they wanted to learn how to draw, is referring to more realistic drawing, which requires your close observation of the reference you use, or what you actually see in the real world. So they're completely different. And as realistic drawing, you're trying to make it right, make it perfect, but it starts with really simple shapes. Also, sometimes you just need to let your mind not think about what it is, what should they should look like, things like perception you need to get rid of to purely true to the image that's presented to you. So it's a mind work as well as work with the eyes and hands. It's good to burn yourself some calories. It's a lot of work. Couple minutes left. Oh, this is funny. Oh no. Okay, I did something weird. Timer. So I will give you 1 more minute. I pressed the wrong button. So try to find more shapes. I don't want to say details, but shapes that you see between the difference in shapes you see between your drawing and this drawing came from just photoshopped photo of the same tomato photo you saw in color earlier. Not too bad, I guess, for the first time doing this. We'll see. I'm recording. Oh, okay, that was that. And again, I don't know how you did, but it would be great if even just after the stream, if you can share me how you did and how your experience was, and also what you would like me to do in the future for the Sunday drawing session and what I want to. Okay, so hi, how did you do? I would love to learn how you are doing and this, and I would love to know what you would like me to introduce in terms of image or certain techniques or certain ways of seeing or anything. So please let me know in the comment. I will take a look and I'll use it for the future sessions. Also, if you have any questions about what we did today, please let me know in the comment too. And the last thing is just the summary of today's session. One big thing is maybe hard because we live in a busy life, but when you look at something, maybe you notice or not, you need to really pay attention to one thing for 2 minutes. 2 minutes seem to be short, but it might feel kind of long. So you need to slow down to capture something. The even essential simple shapes. So that relates to you wanted to look at what you are seeing either in the photographs or real things, whatever you're trying to draw. You wanted to look at your reference closely. This applies to both memory and observation, but memory is only you have certain you have limitations. So when it comes to really observational drawing, you wanted to look at what you're drawing really closely and focus on essential shapes to start. No matter how much detail you add to the shapes, if the shapes at the beginning are off, you cannot get the drawing right. So make sure that big picture, abstract shapes first, then eventually add more details, refining it, the shapes, even at the beginning. What you get as memory drawing is enough guide for you to work around and make changes and adjust and refine. Then go add more details like shadings and texture and things, then finish it. But start with big picture, essential shapes. And the last one is drawing is a process. So you don't need to get everything right at first. You just start with something and again adjusting something till you see a good result at the end. But you don't want to judge any time in between like this is a good drawing or bad drawing. You just make it into a drawing that you wanted to make. But if it's a realistic drawing, you need to really true to what you're seeing, which is mind, no perception, no thinking like this should look like this or anything. So that's all I have for today, and I hope you have a nice evening. And if you are in my time zone, and let me know if you have any questions or anything you want to share your experience. And I hope to see you in the next session. Bye.